Yeah, so my name is Valerie, and if you're here on my channel, most likely you found me and my content because you have some sort of pelvic pain. Um, I just wanted to make this video to give a quick update as to how I'm doing and talk a little bit about what I've done most recently in my life to heal from the symptoms that I was experiencing. So I'm doing good. Um, the I know it's like a big thing to put percentages and stuff like that around how you feel, and I really don't like doing that because to me it, it's a trigger. Putting too much concentration and thought into what my pain is like is just not something that I do anymore. I used to write about it every single day and rate it, and I had a scale and I had like this whole methodical, matrix of what qualified as what percentage of pain and stuff. So, I really don't do that anymore. But I am well, and my life is normal. I feel good. I'm feeling better and better all the time. I've been a chronic pain experiencer, a person who experiences chronic pain for 10 years since I was 28, 38 now. And the last 2.5 years were pelvic pain. So I will say this, I have like what I've heard referred to as twinges, but they're not painful. And what I know is that it's just my nerves and my nervous system and everything kind of trying to regulate and normalize, and reestablish normal levels of signaling in that area. So, which makes sense because I felt a ton of pain there for a long time. So I just wanted to talk about not everything that I've done, but what I've done most recently in my life to heal. And that would be changing my mind state. So about 9 months ago, I guess in January of this year, after I was pretty much 2 years in to the whole UTI thing, I was like tracking my pain every single day. I was writing about it. I was talking about it. I was describing in detail the best descriptions that I could come up with that would say this is what it was like and this is what I was feeling. I had like little nicknames for the different kinds of pains that I had and what they felt like, and it after 2 years of doing that, it just got fucking old. And so I wasn't trying to do anything, major. I just got tired of it, and I just thought, if just it is what it is. If this is what it's gonna be like forever, then I'm not gonna fucking write about it every single day. So I just stopped. And so it's kind of hard for me to gauge it now just because it's like I don't give a shit. So yeah, but I'm doing good enough to where I can say I don't give a shit. I don't think about it. I don't talk about it. And those things kind of surround the mind state. After dealing with chronic pain from various places in all parts of my body for a really long time, and then add 2 years of horrific pelvic pain to that, I started to develop the most awful, dark, disgusting, despicable, terrifying self-talk that you could imagine. So honestly, my main piece of advice would be to check your mentality, to check your mind frame. What I sounded like on a daily basis, if you could tap into my brain, I used to think like it was a very dark, scary fucking place to be in my head. I had repetitive, like, just narrative on loop that was like, I hate myself, I'm ugly, I'm disgusting, I'm broken, I'm sick, I'm gonna be like this forever, I don't deserve to live, I don't want to live, I can't live like this, it hurts, it's stabbing, it's sharp, it's shooting, it's burning, it's here, it's there, what does it look like? It's raw, it's bleeding, it's broken, it's, abnormal, it's infected, it's swollen, it's red, it's inflamed, it's, I'm never gonna be the same. I'm always gonna be like this. I'm nothing. I'm worthless. I'm so worthless. I hate myself. I hate my body. My body hates me. It gets worse, way worse. But it was just like that. It was just like that all the time. It didn't matter what I would be doing. I could be giving a presentation at work. I could be making a beautiful dinner. I could be, having what would look like a beautiful day with my family, or watching a movie, reading a book. It didn't matter what it was that I was doing, but the forefront of my mind, the primary focus always was on my pain. And even when I wasn't having pain, because I've had tons of pain-free days throughout the process, not really like the first year of it, but eventually I got to a point where I started to have some pain-free days. And even when I wasn't in pain, I was just thinking about when is it gonna happen? And every time I would do anything, I would be like, oh, is that gonna cause it? Is that gonna cause it? Is that gonna cause it? Is it there? Is it there? Is it there? Is it there? Is it coming? Is it coming? Is it here yet? It was just always focused on that. So I have done a lot of work to change the voices in my head and redirect them. I pretty much had convinced myself that I would never be able to heal because of whatever reason, because I was different than everyone else, because I was unlucky, because I was cursed, because I, deserved it, or because God hated me, or the universe hated me, or I was put on this planet to absorb pain, as opposed to the other people on the planet that are here who don't have pain, which don't exist. So anyway, my mind frame was just stuck on that constant cycle, and I've done a lot of work to reprogram that, and let's just call it self-talk. So your self-talk needs to be healthy, and it probably isn't right now. And I started saying different mantras to myself, and I think that, I don't know, it just made a huge difference. It made a huge difference right away, because I think that my body was ready to heal and move on past the pain. But because I'd done so many things to treat the culprit, the infection, but there were these lingering symptoms, and I was just overwhelmed with cascading instructions, negative instructions that I was sending throughout my whole body, because, you know, our mind and our body is one. And if you don't know what that means, then look up the placebo effect, look up the nocebo effect. The body follows the mind. It's just true, you know? People will have spontaneous healing because their doctor told them that this pill that had literally no medicine in it, if they took it, they would heal. So that's a thing. It's called the placebo effect. So what you believe is paramount in what actually happens when it comes to your health. So if you believe that you're never going to get well, then good luck getting well, right? If you can't at least get to that point, then everything that you do is to spite your own face. You have to believe that you can get well. And I kind of took that a step further, and I tell myself every morning, I am well. I'm well. I'm healthy. There's nothing wrong with me. I am well. My bladder is well. It's healthy. It's normal. It's okay. And when I started doing that, it literally made the world of difference, because I was at up and down symptoms, up and down symptoms, up and down symptoms. My symptoms were overall lower after pounding, you know, antibiotics into my system forever. But it just these lingering little, you know, twinges and symptoms, you know, that would range from, you know, ones on the pain scale to 3s to 5s. You know, it just was like, it just never would stop. I was just stuck there. It was just always there. And even when it wasn't there, it was like secretly there. But yeah, so I just changed my self-talk. I started telling myself that I was well, and I started to believe that I would get well. And I'm a fucking negative, pessimistic cynic. I don't recommend it, but I'm a what if kind of thinker. I am glass half empty, always waiting for the other shoe to drop kind of person. And I mean, rightfully, I came by it honestly. I had a shitty fucking childhood, really, really shitty, and a pretty bad hand dealt to me as a young adult, and have had to fight tooth and nail for everything that I have just to survive, you know, like so many of us have to do. So no, I was not a positive person, and I'm always waiting for the next terrible thing to happen in my life. And I'm not gonna be like that anymore, because the power of manifestation is a real thing. And, you know, for me, I just can't afford to be attracting negativity, because that's where my mind is always, is negative. It's gonna be bad, it's gonna be bad, it's gonna be bad, it's gonna be worse. Even though it's okay right now, it's gonna be terrible. A quote from Mark Twain that very eloquently describes what I'm talking about is, he says, I have been through many terrible things in my life, most of which, or some of which, actually happened. Because the body follows the mind. Your mind is, and your mind state and your thoughts, they're real to you, to your nervous system, to your body. they mean something. They may not be reality on an external level, but they mean something to you. They're processed by your being, your whole being, and they're felt. So if they're scary, you'll feel scared. If they're sad, you'll feel sad. If they're hopeless, you'll feel hopeless. If they're hurtful, you'll feel that pain through your body, you know. Just like if they're anxious, you can feel anxiousness in your body. Or fearful, you can feel the fear in your body. So what you think and what comes in and out, whatever you're doing up in here, has a cascading effect on your body. Brain science, totally real thing. You gotta know this. If you don't, look at the Curable app. Great app. If you don't, look up the mind-body connection. Just do a little research. I mean, it sounds hooju as fuck. It took me 2 years to get to a place where this is where I was at. I exhausted every other fucking treatment there was, every fringe treatment there was, and then I just had to go straight to outer space to start really getting some help. But once I started to believe that I could get better, once I started to talk to myself over and over and over again with, I am well, I am healthy, there is nothing wrong with me. The more I did that to counteract the, oh no, I'm gonna fucking die and I'm always gonna be like this dumpster fire of a sob story, you know, like once I had to, how do you have to counteract that shit? So I started to counteract it with good thoughts, believing in myself, believing that I was okay, believing every day that I can and I could be well and that I am well. I started to feel better, and I'm telling you, it started to happen very quickly. And after over 2 years of pretty much having some pain on some level every single day, even on my pain-free days, I would have symptoms that I'd be like, well, they don't count because they're not painful, but I'd have feelings and sensations, which I still have some of those now, like just feelings and sensations. I think my nervous system's trying to like send signals there, you know, there's established neural pathways of sending pain to that area all the time. So, I mean, I do have some twinges, is what people would call them. But you know what? I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm doing the work that I need to do to adjust my mind, because the body follows the mind. And I am basically giving myself a big fat ass dose of placebo every single day. Now, placebo could mean that it doesn't like last, but that's not what I'm doing here. It's just a good example of what I'm doing. I'm healing my fucking mind, man. And you need to do that. It can overlap with whatever treatment we're doing, whatever modality you're trying out this week, whatever fucking flavor of the month it is, in trying to figure out what you believe in, what you believe will help heal you. You know, to each his own. You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta try things. I get that. You gotta take shit. You gotta buy stuff on Amazon. I get that. But you have to believe that you're gonna get better, and you have to tell yourself that all the time, and you need to take a good fucking inventory of the thoughts that you have, and if they sound like what mine sounded like, you know, then you've got a problem. You've got to address that. You just have to. So, and for me, you know, started to feel better. I started to feel way better. Like I said, sometimes I get like some twinges and stuff like that, but and then when I'm like really stressed out, like my dog died last month, and she had a rough few weeks leading up. And after my symptoms had pretty much been, you know, like they were gone, I guess, you know, for like I was on a good streak for like a couple months. I was on a really good streak where it was just like I didn't even really think about it. I just was like, yeah, I'm pretty much healed, right? And went through a stressful time, and I just started to notice like some more twinges and stuff. But I was really fucking stressed, and I was really fucking sad, and I was exhausted. And she passed away. And epic. She went out like a movie. It was crazy. So amazing. Beautiful dog. My best girl. But anyway, after she passed, and honestly, it was huge relief. She was in bad shape, and it was a lot of work to take care of her. And you know, then for like the next week, I had no symptoms at all after she passed. But I allowed myself to grieve. I allowed myself to fucking skip work and take time off, and, you know, stuff that I would have never allowed myself to do before. You know, it would have just been like kind of pushing it all down, and just forcing myself to just take it all, just take it. But anyway, so since then, I've, you know, just been back on an upward trajectory of feeling really good and doing better every day. And, you know, not gonna use, I don't like using percentages because it's stupid, but because it changes all the time, right? Until eventually you're just so past it that obviously you're 100% fine all the time. But, you know, if I had to put a percent on it, I would say 95, 99% better. And the funny thing is that it's not just my bladder. Because, again, 10 years of chronic pain. I had hand issues, neck issues, back issues, foot issues, skin issues, pains in my rib, pains in my jaw, pains in my heel of my foot, my toes, my fingers, my wrists, my palms, my shoulders, lots of crazy nerve pains all over my body. I have a cousin who has fibromyalgia, or she like was officially diagnosed with that. She totally was like, yeah, you have fibromyalgia, and I'm just like, yeah, don't give me another diagnosis, I don't need that shit. But yeah, something like that. I've got all the stuff. So a lot of my stuff is doing better too, a lot of that other stuff, and my life is back to normal. Just paying attention to my beliefs. So that is the message of this year. Maybe I'll do more videos, I don't know, but I just want to leave you guys with that message. Whatever it is that you're doing, you know, whatever it is that your root cause is, you know, like, sure, I get it, you know, you have to travel those roads and navigate those paths, but in conjunction with whatever it is that you do, you have to believe that you will get better. Believe it with your whole mind. Believe it with your whole mind. Believe it with your whole heart. Believe it with every cell in your body. Because your mind is this orchestrator of every cell in your body. Every particle of chemical, every blood cell, every oxygen particle, everything that happens in your body is just this symphony that's being carried out, and your brain and your mind is conducting it all. So heal your mind and good things will follow. So that's what I want to tell everybody. Be well.